for some swords and sorcery with this next review. Excellent cover art on this one. This game's called Storm. Let's check it out. So here's that front cover. Got the Storm logo at the top there, and a very mighty looking barbarian type chap with his muscles rippling and a rather scary look on his face on the front there, and his leopard skin clad lady behind him there. Logo on the spine as you'd expect, and blurb on the back. Can't quite read it all because it's obscured by the back flap of the tape, but basically it's thrilling, highly addictive arcade adventure, and you've got to pit your wits against somebody or other and battle against his evil minions. Inside we've got some screenshots, not that easy to make out, but you can see an obvious sort of maze style design to the screen, and it's probably a Gauntlet clone for all intents and purposes. Might not be giving it enough credit, but I think that's probably what it's going to be. And inside we've just got one page of instructions, which as it says there, part 1, Una Kum's Lair, and it tells you a bit of blurb about the game, but there's nothing about part 2, so I don't know if that means this was supposed to be part 1 of a series which the later parts never materialised, or not. It's got some hints and some controls, loading instructions, and nothing more except a very grubby inlay there. That's horrible. Here's the loading screen for the game, and as you can see, it's not really making best use of the Commodore 64's colour palette. Looked like a copy of a Spectrum loading screen, to be perfectly honest. It's got the logo there, the Mastertronic branding there, the authors, and the picture which is from the front cover, except our barbarian is now completely green and his missus is completely blue. So here we have the title screen. As you can see, it says Storm Part 1, press fire to start, and we've got a scrolling message telling you who's done the music and sound effects, David Whittaker, the copyright, and it's written by the firm and converted by Jay Bagley. So this, I think, as evidenced by the title screen, the loading screen, probably originated on the Spectrum. Anyway, let's get on with the game. So you press fire to start, and you've got an option to choose left or for one player or right for two players, which is a strange option. I would have just thought pressing 1 or 2 would make more sense, but we'll have one player. Do you want instructions? Let's have a look at those and push forward on the joystick. All joystick control, which is quite clever. So here's the instructions with lots of background into the game, which I'll just skip through pretty quickly. Basically you've got to rescue the princess, classic sort of 80s video game plot line. Blah blah blah, and then you've got these options. It tells you how to control the two players. Strangely, player 1 is actually Agravain, not Storm, which seems a bit of a peculiar thing when the game's called Storm, but there you go. So he's got some options there. Storm's got a different sprite and some slightly different controls, but not much. You'll notice there it says left to rotate left and right to rotate right. We'll get onto the control scheme in a moment. Then you've got some stuff which very obviously shows that it's a Gauntlet clone. You've got generators produce monsters, blah blah blah, things that will destroy monsters, food to increase your energy just like Gauntlet, energy bottles, collect 3 snake brooches to open the door to the wizard's laboratory, and we finally get into the game. So first things first, this has got some of the most ugly graphics I've ever seen on any Commodore 64 game. Horrible big blocky sprites, loads of brown and red all clashing with each other. It's pretty damn horrible, to be honest. Add to that this control scheme, which left rotates your character left, right rotates right, forward makes you move forward, back doesn't really do anything unless you're carrying a scroll. Pretty strange control mechanism when you think that you could have just used up, down, left and right to move around the dungeons. So it is similar to Gauntlet. It's wandering around a maze, basically shooting stuff and collecting objects, trying to get into the wizard's castle or something along those lines. You do get a nice little description of each room scrolling across that blue bar there at the top. You've also got some stuff there to give you score and your energy level. So as you can see, there's a generator here which has generated all these monsters. I'm currently trapped in this room, not for long though. Just want to mention also this brown stuff, which someone obviously thought was a quite clever graphical trick to have sort of what looks like a roof that you walk underneath, but it just makes it impossible to see the sprite. Anyway, so if I collect this thing here, this red thing on the left, it'll actually open a trap, and suddenly everything's trying to attack me. And it's just like Gauntlet, you shoot the monsters, some of them take a couple of shots, some of them are gone with one. There's a scroll there I've just collected. As you can see there, it says generators reappear if the room is re-entered. It's a flick screen maze adventure rather than a scrolling one like Gauntlet. Something else to collect there. That's a key. Look, save keys to open doors. Where have we heard that before, Gauntlet fans? So, as mentioned, the idea of the game is to get into the wizard's castle, or the enemy's castle, and somewhere there's a door with some snakes on, which you've got to collect the snake brooches to unlock. There's another scroll there. Save scrolls to cast spells. So as you can see, the graphics do change slightly from room to room. There's things that you can't walk past. That red thing there, I can't get past it. I don't know why. Don't really know what it is. That's some armour. There's also some food there, and so on. And there's a door. Oh, there we go. Undone a trap there, which has opened this door, or made this door available, I should say. Here we go. 3 snake brooches are needed to open this door. So I've got to find the brooches and come back to this screen. At least that screen's quite close to where you start. I quite like that. So I need to go, as you can see there, the generators respawn. I need to go and try and find these brooches then, by the looks of things. So nice touches in the game are that it does give you the little description of the room when you walk into it. You get lots of helpful messages. Quite user friendly in that case, but what's not user friendly is this control mechanism. It's just horrible. I don't know why they decided to do it. So as you can see, there's other stuff in this room, nothing really notable. More generators, more ugliness. I've undone another trap there, but I'm not really sure what that one did really. Yeah, basically lots of brown and red and pretty horrible graphics. Sound's not up to much either. After that title screen music from David Whittaker, the sounds are just average sort of shooting noises and grunting noises and little bleeps when you pick stuff up. Otherwise it's complete silence. So I'll continue to investigate and see what I can find elsewhere in the playing area. Thus far, not very impressed. Here's something interesting, well not necessarily interesting, but something new to pick up. It's an amulet. It's a powerful magical token. I believe you can actually wipe out everything on the screen by pushing fire and back, so let's give that a go. Yeah, that killed everything on the screen. That was because I've got some of those scrolls, I think. But otherwise things are pretty boring so far. Okay, there's a door there that I can open with the key I picked up earlier. That might be vaguely interesting. There's quite a variety of enemies in the game, but they're all really kind of blobby, ugly things that you can't really make out what they're supposed to be. Red splats and stuff. There you go, there's the door open. And, oh look, there's presumably one of the snake brooches that I need to collect. Whether I can be bothered to try and find the others. So far I've got a score of 71 points, which doesn't seem very much for all the effort I'm putting in. I've got another scroll. I've got a jewel-filled chest. Oh, suddenly my score is 1071. And there's the first of the snake brooches. Where the other two are, your guess is as good as mine. So after a lot of backtracking, I'm now almost back where I started. And you may have just seen that message on the screen, or maybe not. It said aggravating is about to die. That was when my energy went just below 1,000. I mean, it seems a bit harsh when a bit of a premature declaration that you're about to die when you've still got all this energy left. It doesn't go down that quickly. So move along, getting kind of bored now, as you probably guessed. The irony is, when I was a kid and I loved Gauntlet and these sort of role-playing type games, I probably would have loved this game, even though the graphics are horrendously ugly. Now I'm just kind of find it really tedious, and that's true to a certain extent of the original Gauntlet as well. Like I said again there, aggravating is about to die. I'm still not really about to die, there's quite a lot of energy left there. And there's some food which doesn't seem to have increased my energy much, but staved off that imminent death a little bit. So I've been wandering pretty aimlessly for a while now, and I'm getting close to running out of energy. And what can I say? Yeah, as mentioned a few moments ago, I did used to like these kind of games when I was a kid, but it's just really dull, this one. To be fair, at least you make a little bit of progress early on by finding one of the amulets pretty quickly. Amulets, brooches, whatever they are. But the controls and the graphics are so uninspiring that it doesn't really will you to progress much further. Every room's just a variation of the same rubbish. Don't know if I've got any other keys to use in this door, if I can get to it, or even what purpose it would serve if I did. No, I've got no keys to get through there, so that's the end of that at the moment. Don't know where the other keys are. I need to go and explore a bit further, but I don't think I can be bothered. I think I'm just going to round it up by saying, back in the 80s, if you were looking for an alternative to Gauntlet because you couldn't afford a copy of Gauntlet on the Commodore 64, which would have cost you £10, then it might have seemed a worthwhile option. It's certainly playable, it's just not very fun to play, is my criticism of it. Yeah, just kind of uninspiring would be the best way to describe it, I think. And that's me dead, I think. Yeah, game over. Perfect timing. So I'm going to say, might have been worth $1.99 back in the day, but certainly not worth playing now. There's way better versions of or alternatives to Gauntlet, or you could just play Gauntlet itself. So we'll leave it there.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
2, 1, 0.